Welcome back everyone to Box with Josh, where we talk about the weekly box office estimates with me, Josh. Let's get right into it. The Nun 2 opened up this weekend. I did see it. The review is on the channel. It was estimated to make about $32.6 million this weekend, and it's its first weekend in theaters. Like I said, it's about 3,700 theaters. I think this opening is kind of weak if you compare it to the first Nun, because I think the first Nun did so much better. But I don't think this is a weekend to really cry about, because these horror movies, they are made with such a low budget. I think this one has around a $30 to $40 million production budget, and it's easily going to make back its opening weekend. It's easily going to make profit in a couple weeks. Its international numbers are really strong right now. I think it internationally opened to about like 60 to 80, I think. And so I think this isn't anything to really worry about for the Conjuring universe. I think they're going to still make them because they make them for so cheap, and if they have to make them for cheaper, they will, because it's easy to do that. So I think the Nun started off weaker than the first one, but still I think it's going to end up being a success for the studio, and Warner Bros. Is probably going to be happy for it. Next up, in number 2, it's going to be the Equalizer 3, coming in at $12.1 million, which is a steep 65% drop from its first weekend. Yeah, this weekend isn't great for Equalizer. I don't know if it's going to get to 100 million domestically after this big drop in the second weekend. It'll probably get close, maybe like 80 to 90 million. I'm not sure it's going to get to 100 million because this drop is pretty high. It's higher than I would have expected, because this drop is, I don't know, it's something. I mean, last week was Labor Day weekend, so the 4-day weekend might have been carried over to this weekend. That's why the drop maybe is so high. But still, for an Equalizer movie, I wasn't expecting this big of a drop. But I think this one, I don't know if this one will make profit, but I think the 65% drop is a little bit to worry about, but we'll see how it does next weekend. Coming in third place this weekend is My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, the newest release of this week alongside Nun 2. It grossed an approximate $10 million, and it played on about 3,600 screens. I don't know a lot about this movie. I know it's the third one. As I said, I haven't seen the others, so I don't really have anything to really talk about for this one. But it's probably going to be under, and it probably is not going to have great legs, so we're probably going to move on from that one. Coming in fourth place is this movie called Jawan. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I think it's an Indian blockbuster. It grossed $6.2 million here at only 813 theaters, which is actually pretty good. So happy for that one. I don't know about that one either, but it's impressive that it got into the top 5 in the US as an Indian blockbuster. So good for them. They need to, I think that the US is really taking in these movies very well right now, and I think that if they keep bringing a lot of movies like that over here, I think a lot of people will go and watch them. I don't think it played by me, so I didn't get the chance to watch it, but I think a lot of people are interested, and I might check it out when it hits digital. But good for that movie. Coming in fifth place this weekend is Barbie, grossing $5.9 million, a 42% drop, still chugging along. 3,200 theaters now. It only lost 305 theaters. It's doing great. It's at about 620 million domestically so far. Man, oh man. And I think it hit 1.4 billion. I don't think it's going to get to 1.5. I don't think I ever said. I think it's going to end up where I said, like 1.4 to 1.5. It already crossed 1.4. I don't think it's going to get to 1.5, but it's going to be in that range. Probably like 1.41, 1.42, maybe end up like that. But it's crazy. It's 8th weekend now, grossing 5.9 million. Just insane numbers. No one thought it would hit that much. It's literally insane. Blue Beetle, though, comes in 6th place with about 3.7 million, dropping about 47%. It's 4th weekend, and it's only at 63 million domestically. A lot of people are going to get on me for this, but I don't think this is a good performance in this. Sure, it's outgrossing Shazam, but it's still not going to hit 100 million domestically, still not going to hit profit. And if you come at me for saying that this movie is having good drops, yeah, it is having good drops, but not for, like, it's having good drops. If this were like $100 million opening weekend, these would be fantastic drops, but it only opened, I think, with like 30 million, 40 million. So these aren't fantastic drops. You got to get that. These aren't fantastic drops because it didn't open as high as other superhero movies do. Other superhero movies open with 100 million or more, and they drop like 50 to 60%, 40% each weekend, and that's pretty good drops because they open really high. Blue Beetle, though, did not open high, and it's not going to make money, even though I did really enjoy it. I'll watch it when it hits digital. It's probably not it's going to probably be another loss for Warner Bros. This year. Coming in 7th place this weekend is Gran Turismo, grossing $3.3 million on a 49% drop. another abysmal weekend for this movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was great, and its third weekend so far, it's only at $35 million domestically. It's not going to make profit for Sony, sadly. I think the early screenings really did hurt this one, and it's just not doing well. I mean, a lot of people just skipped out on this one, even though it did have good word of mouth. A lot of critics really bashed it, though. I don't know why, because a lot of audiences really enjoyed it. At my screenings, a lot of people clapped at the end. I thought it was a really good crowd pleaser. Maybe a lot of people are waiting for streaming for this one. We'll see how it does on digital. But I overall really enjoyed it. But I mean, it's not going to make a lot more money. It's basically run out of steam at this point. But a movie that hasn't run out of steam is Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer grossed $3 million this weekend on a 48% drop. It's kind of chugging along like Barbie, just at like a smaller pace, because Barbie, of course, opened higher, but Oppenheimer is just right behind it. And Oppenheimer is also in its 8th week, just like Barbie, and it's at $315 million domestically. But Oppenheimer is about $10 million away from $900 million domestically. That is literally insane. $1 billion might be out of reach for this one this year. But when the Oscar season comes up next year, I think Universal will re-release this and get IMAX screens. So maybe they'll push for $1 billion when the Oscars come. But I'm not sure it's going to get $1 billion either way. But I think it could get close when either of those happen. But it's really close to $900 million, and it's also really close to beating Bohemian Rhapsody as the #1 biopic. You know, the #1 biopic. And I feel like if it passes that, it will be a massive achievement for that film. So we're going to wait to see if it hits those milestones, but it's very close to $900 million. Oppenheimer's doing fantastic. Coming in 9th place this weekend is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, grossing $2.6 million on a 44% drop. It's in its 6th weekend. It's finally passed $100 million domestically. It's at $111 million domestically so far. This one is kind of interesting for me because its worldwide number isn't great. Its domestic number is really good though, but it's gonna pass profit. It will, but it's not like at the standards that I wanted it to be. But I think it's still doing decent and pretty good. But I wish it just made like maybe $50 million by now. I wish it was like at $150 million domestically, but it did come out in August where a lot of films fail, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles didn't fail. It's doing pretty good. We're going to get that sequel. Coming in 10th place this weekend to round it off is Bottoms, grossing about $2 million on a 33% drop. It did gain a lot more theaters. It gained about 550 more. It's in its 3rd official weekend, and its domestic total so far is about 7.6 million. I don't have anything for it worldwide. I think it's doing pretty good for like an indie comedy film, I guess you could say. I'm not going to call it like a major blockbuster comedy because not a lot of people know about it. It's in only 1,200 theaters right now. It's probably not going to make a lot more money, but I think that a lot of people will find this on digital and streaming and love it. I think it's a classic. I gave it like a 9. It's such a good comedy, like the best comedy I've seen in like 6 years. So good. If this one's not in your theaters anywhere near you, search it for on digital when it comes out on digital, probably about in a month. Very good. Loved it. And it's still in the top 10. Good for it. But that's the weekend's top 10 movies of the box office. Let's get to what's coming out this weekend. We only have one major release coming out this weekend, and it's going to be A Haunting in Venice. This is like the sequel to Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile. It's like a trilogy kind of now. This is the final one, I think. I don't think they're going to be making any more. I think it's just saying as a sequel. I mean, a trilogy. Kenneth Branagh returns to direct it, returns to star as Hercule Poirot. We got Tina Fey in this one, Michelle Yeoh. This is kind of like a horror aspect one because the first two were just kind of straight up mysteries. This one adds a little bit of horror to it. This one's coming to major theaters. It's coming to wide release. I think this one's releasing pretty much everywhere. So if you're going to go see it, go see in your local theater. I'm going to be reviewing it on this channel. Review will be up, I think, on Friday morning. So check that out. Come back for it. Hope it's good, but I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Box with Josh. I had a fun time talking to box up with you guys. Not a lot happened this week, but hopefully next week we have a little bit of a shake up in the box office. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like this video. Helps out a lot. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. I upload almost every day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.